Rutledge.com, the creator of the Rutledge Perspective podcast, and now I am the host of the Rutledge Perspective on KCOH TV, The Boost, and I am so excited. My background in human resources and also in business and consulting has given me the opportunity to share information with all of you, and what we're going to do is talk about the foundational pieces, whether or not you're building a business or you're building a career. It all comes down to strategy and people. If you don't know where you're going, how do you know who needs to be on your team? So please join me, join in the conversation, catch the show both on the radio, on the app, and also on Facebook. And I will be on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you there.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, Talking Out Tuesday with me and Jerry P. Beasley. And I'm so glad y'all are here. And it's rainy here in Houston, but we are here. So that's a good day.
Yes, it is.
So we'll start with our public service announcements. No primaries today, at least none that was listed. So you got a reprieve today, but I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Please fill out your census. It looks like they are not going to have a bunch of people in the streets like they normally do, a bunch of census takers, at least not anytime soon. So please go online. It literally takes like 8 minutes. Please go online and fill out your census. It's really important to do that. It impacts our representation. It impacts funding. There's so much that it impacts. So please go out and fill out your census. It's really important for you to do that. Now, elections. We are less than 100 days from the election. Less than 100 days. If you are not registered to vote, I need you to please go do that this week. Please go do that this week. Don't take a chance. Don't wait until 30 days out. Don't say, well, I can just do it tomorrow. I can do it tomorrow. I read something the other day that says those things that you say you can do tomorrow are the things you need to be ready to still have undone when you die. And I thought, well, there you go. So please go get registered to vote. It's really important to do that. Here's another thing. In Texas, and I couldn't believe this happened. In Texas, I saw yesterday, unless they change it, good morning, Lena. Unless they change it, we have had our early voting extended from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So you will have 3 weeks to early vote in Texas. So there's no excuse. And especially if they do some shady stuff like stopping polls or shutting down polls or changing your polling locations and all that. The good thing about early voting is you can go to any poll when you're early voting. So just go. You'll have 3 weeks to figure it out. Go. Go understand who's on the ballot. I also see, good morning, Tisa. I also see that, good morning, Marcia. I also see that, I heard on the news the other day that like all the seats in Congress or something up for re-election, which I didn't think they did that. I thought it was every couple of years. So I need to go double check that one. But lots and lots and lots of seats are up for grabs. Your vote matters. Your vote counts. Go out. There is still plenty of time to go look at the candidates, to see how they voted, to see what they said. There's so much stuff on social media now. Now make sure you're vetting it. Go to Snopes. Make sure it's real. But go and see what people have said. Go see how they voted, especially if they're in Congress right now. You should be able to go see their actual vote on the things that matter to you. So go pull their vote, go see what they're doing, and go get registered. Here's the other thing. If you are mailing in your ballot, make sure you double check and put enough postage on the ballot to mail it. It takes extra postage. So don't think you're good and just send it, because see, that's how they catch you. And then your vote hasn't counted because it didn't get counted because you didn't get it mailed in on time. So make sure you put enough postage on your ballot when you mail it in. Make sure you mail it in on time. You can also deliver your ballot in person somewhere. So your written ballot, you can do that during early voting. So please, there are no excuses, y'all. There's no excuse. There's no excuse for not voting. So please, please vote. Vote as if your life depends on it, because it does. Let's see. There's also, this morning, it looks like something will be passed soon to regroup or expand all of the support and services that happened during COVID. The initial one, they're looking at another package, including a continuation of the PPP for employers to try to help continue the employment of their employees.
Oh, good.
Don't know what that's going to look like. Don't know what the process is going to be. But the House passed something. The Senate, of course, passed something different. So we'll see what the final bill is going to be. But there is going to be more money coming through. And some of those benefits are extending. Now, the unemployment benefits, they're extending them. But the Senate bill is decreasing them. So it won't be 600. I think they're decreasing it to something like 400. And after a certain period of time, it won't even be the 400. It will be 70% of your last wages. So whatever you were making on a regular basis, you would be getting 70%. This is the federal unemployment piece. But here's the challenge that everyone's been saying is that the systems aren't set up to really calculate that well. So how are they going to do that? So that sounds real good, but how is it going to be implemented? So just pay attention. Pay attention. Especially if you're getting unemployment right now. You really need to pay attention to what's going on and what you need to do about your money. The other thing about unemployment for employers, and I need to reach out to the Houston Black Restaurant Owners Association because I know this is a challenge. There are many bar and restaurant owners who had opened back up. You know, now they're closing back down, right? But when they open back up, and some of them are opening back up at 50% or whatever, they offered people, they were able to get a PPP, which means you keep people's jobs there and then you bring them back. But many people, even though you said, hey, we're back open, come back to work, they were getting more money through unemployment than you were able to pay them as a bartender or a waiter or, you know, whatever, bar back or whatever. And here is the challenge. One, I don't want it to look like the rhetoric that's out there that says we can't keep $600 because nobody's going to want to go back to work because they're making more money in unemployment than they would if they were going back to work. Yeah. That is a very, very small percentage of people, y'all. So let's not spread peanut butter like that. But here's the deal. Here's the real deal. If you are an employer, you got PPP, you have held someone's job, you have now opened that job back up and said, please come back to work. And they have decided, and they're taking unemployment, and they have decided they don't want to come back to work. Your decision is more of a moral decision. Good morning, Carlsbad, California. Is more of a moral decision because the reality is if they choose not to come back to work, they have chosen to leave employment. They have voluntarily quit, which means they are no longer eligible for unemployment. So the decision you have as an employer is, am I going to hold them to that and then go and say and report, hey, I offered them the job and they're not coming back, and then the person ends up, you know, with less money? Because you have to take care of you. If you have gotten a PPP, you've got to be compliant. So make sure you are talking to an expert. Make sure you're paying attention to what's going on in your business. Make sure you understand what's going on with your people. But if you have offered someone to come back to work and they choose not to, their unemployment is no longer guaranteed because they have voluntarily quit their job. They've decided not to come back. Even if that means that you have to pay them less than what they were making on unemployment in those very rare situations. So just know that. That's a very tough decision, especially for smaller businesses where people are really close and the teams are really close and the employees are really close. That's a very difficult decision. But it is a decision that you as a business owner and a leader may have to make. Because again, if you got PPP, you want to make sure you're compliant with PPP, because you may have an employee that's really upset with you or feels like you've ruined their life or what have you, but you may lose your business.
Here's a quick statement. They said, did you know that Kroger's made the people pay that money back they received?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. That's interesting. Because Kroger was one of the first one that gave like extra bonus money.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I would hope not. That would be horrible.
I know.
Horrible,
but not surprising.
For working in the pandemic.
Yes. And for that story, if that's true, shame on Kroger. I'm not a big Kroger supporter anyway, for a number of reasons. But I also saw that Walmart, Dick's Sporting Goods, another big one, not Amazon. There's another big one. Maybe it was Target, that are now going to be closed on Thanksgiving Day this year. They've never done that before. Because of all of this stuff with COVID and how people have been working so hard. they're going to close down for Thanksgiving and give their employees the time off.
Wow.
So that's a blessing. Okay. So make sure you're paying attention. Remember those places we told you to follow. Follow the Department of Labor, DOL.gov. Follow the EEOC, EEOC.gov. Follow the CDC, CDC.gov. Follow OSHA, OSHA.gov. So make sure you're following those. Find a couple of law firms. They are normally putting out newsletters. They do webinars. Everybody's doing something right now. So find some other people that are experts to follow so that you have some information that you can gather. That'll help you. Oh, I didn't check. Do we have Germany and UK on today too?
We have San Diego, California, St. Louis, Missouri, D.C., Washington, D.C., New York, the Bronx, L.A., California, Kansas City, Missouri, and Spring, Texas.
Yay, love it. Thank y'all for being here this morning. So that's it for the public announcements, I do believe. I'm sure something else will come up, but those are the big ones. So today, we're going to be talking about mindset and how much mindset matters. See, Jerry, you made me start coughing.
No, it's the dust.
It is the dust. So y'all know it really is dusty in the studio today. So mindset matters. And here's how this came up. So if any of you are following me, you saw my post. It's like this week we are just determined. I was just determined. You can either be determined or you can be desperate. Mm-hmm. And desperation leads to frustration, right? And so you don't want to be desperate. You want to be determined. And determination is a mindset. What are you going to do with your energy? How are you going to move your energy? And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because we are all reaching, and some of us way past the point of fatigue. Mental fatigue, emotional fatigue, physical fatigue, spiritual fatigue. We just tired. We are just tired. And some of us are tired for COVID reasons. Some of us are tired for COVID and the social injustice reasons and a bunch of other stuff. Not even to mention all the other family stuff that may be going on and health stuff that may be going on. So we're all getting just tired. And people are tired of staying home and they're tired of wearing masks. They're tired of figuring out how to get their kids to stop touching each other. I mean, it's just a lot right now. And we all have a choice. Mindset matters. Where are we going to put our energy? How are we going to manage our mindset? How are we going to manage our energy? How are we going to manage our perspective? And so one of the things when you're talking about mindset is really focusing on clarity. Clarity. So you want to own that you're feeling tired, but you want to try to take the time to get clear on why you're tired. Because your response to that fatigue may change depending on what's making you tired. So if you are just exhausted with all of the social injustice that's going on, with this craziness that's happening in Portland, it's all over the news. If you're tired of all of that stuff, there may be one action you take or multiple actions you take around that. Like I saw a medic who posted a picture where he got hit with a tear gas can. It was horrible, right near his heart. Luckily, he didn't have any damage to his actual heart. But one of the things he mentioned were some things you could do, right? If you were seeing this and you were outraged. One of those being show up and protest if you wanted to. Protest, not riot. Protest. And there is a difference, people. There's a difference. So if it's social injustice that's getting you, what are the things you can do? Can you help people register to vote? Can you educate voters? Can you go to a protest? Can you run to sit on school boards? Can you go to school board meetings and talk about the issues and bring up the issues that are important? Which, by the way, make sure you read the rules of the school board, because it is more than a notion to try to get on an agenda for a school board meeting. So if it's social injustice that is making you exhausted and is getting your mind all knotted up, instead of focusing on the stuff that's making you tired and frustrated and irritated, move to that slow burn, that controlled burn, to say, all of this is real, these are the facts, but I have a choice in how I feel. You don't necessarily have a choice of how things impact you, but you do have a choice in how you respond to them. So figure out what it is that's making you tired and then determine a response. Because you are the only one that's really responsible for you and your mindset and what you do with that mindset. and how that mindset either supports you and strengthens you and moves you forward, or it holds you in overwhelm and paralysis. Let's say that your fatigue is, I've just been in my house way too long and way too much. It's making me crazy. I'm sick of me. And I got to say, sometimes I get sick of me. So really? I do. And I love me. But I know my issues, right? So I know me. I'm just honest, right? I just know me. Because you can't lie to yourself. But is there a way, if that is what's making you crazy, especially, I have a lot of friends who are very, very social. Very social. And this is killing them. It is killing them. And yes, we're now all zoomed out too. Yeah, so what else can you do? Right? So Zoom is out. Can you go walk in your neighborhood just to get some sun and fresh air? There is nothing like good old vitamin D. Get out, breathe some air, see some animals, hear some birds. Get out. If you are comfortable and you are willing to follow the rules, go sit at a sidewalk cafe with somebody. Socially distance. Grab a coffee. Wear your mask. Buy one of the masks with the little hole in it where you put the straw in it. Those are really cute. I'm still trying to find one though. I haven't been able to find one to buy. But find a way to engage with people that is still safe, that is secure, that is safe for you, but also safe for the person you want to engage with, because it's not just about you when you're trying to meet somebody else where they are. So find a way to engage with other people that gets you out of that rut and talks you back off that ledge. That's my tagline. Because you can make yourself crazy. And if you don't manage your mindset, the outcomes will be unintended, and your ability to change your outcomes is going to be difficult. Good morning, Jackie. It's going to be really difficult. So you got to figure out how you can modify your mindset and your response to your circumstances. Because we may be victims, quote unquote, of our circumstances, but we don't have to be victimized by our circumstances. So make a decision to manage your mindset. And so when I talked earlier this week about determination, you know, it is an interesting time. It's an interesting time for a lot of people. Whether or not you are running your own business, or whether you're in a business, or whether you're trying to figure out whether you work at home or not. I think it was Google that said now all their employees are working at home through summer next year, summer 2021.
Wait, Florence says she still rides her bicycle she got for her birthday.
Oh, good. See, that's important. You got to get out there. Yeah. You've got to get out there. Every Friday I go for a walk, about a 45-minute walk. Every Friday. Mm-hmm. That's my training session, is a walk outside. And it is hot and humid, but it is just awesome to just be outside. And I got my little hammock from Costco that I'll sit out on my backyard. Oh, yeah.
We just talked about that. You said you weren't doing no decorating.
Well, this isn't decorating. This is one of those little things, and I keep it inside because I don't want bugs to get in it.
Oh.
It folds up.
You got a hammock in the house?
I don't do bugs, Jerry. I know, but it folds up. It folds up like those It folds up like those folding chairs, right? So it's in a little carry bag, like you can carry it with you. It's got a little cover.
In the house.
Yeah, it's in a closet.
Why don't you defeating the purpose? The hammock is supposed to be outside.
When I go outside, I take the hammock with me and unfold it.
I thought you were doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's folded up in the house. So, you know, take that time to really get out there. It's really important. So keep riding the bike, keep taking the walks, keep swimming, keep going to the walk, whatever you need to do to really make sure that getting blood flowing, because that's important.
Yes.
Getting some oxygen, and yes, you are getting oxygen through your mask. Don't let people make you think that you're not. You are getting oxygen through your mask. Just get some fresh air. Take your vitamins. Get some exercise. It's really important.
You said about the sun, because I didn't know. Like I said, 2 months prior to this happening, I was sitting outside for like 30 minutes, and I didn't know why the Lord was leading me that way. But it really does help my mind. When I go sit out directly in the sun,
it does.
It does something to it. So you know something medically about that?
You know, well, it's vitamin D. So we all need vitamin D, and those of us who have a little more melanin, it is more difficult for you to get vitamin D. And so there's so many. I know so many people who are like vitamin D deficient, black and brown people, vitamin D deficient. And I got really vitamin D deficient, but then I thought about, I was working from sun up to sundown. I left my house when it was dark. I came home when it was dark. I never got any sun. Well, no wonder, you know. So make sure you're outside. So this idea of determination, as I started thinking this week, I had a really great weekend. really great connections with some people. Didn't get to connect with my sister circle, but we're doing that next weekend, y'all. And I thought, you know what? I have been given the opportunity to have this amazing radio show. I've been given the opportunity to walk away from a very lucrative position to start my own business. It's not easy and it's not inexpensive, but it was an opportunity and I took it. And you get those times and you're like, oh my God, what did I do? I have lost my mind. What did I do? I need to just go do something else. I need to figure out something else. How do I do this? It doesn't make sense. Does my message make sense? All of that head trash. And it just hit me all of a sudden. Mindset matters. Mindset matters. And so even when it is really, really difficult, like that song, I Smile, that Kirk Franklin did, even when times are really, really difficult, and I'm not saying you don't own that and sit with that and understand it, because you need to. You need to acknowledge those heavy emotions and move through them and move forward. Because it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do your family any good. It doesn't do the world any good if you sit in that crazy. It just doesn't. And I am not making light of those who truly are in those spaces and need some assistance to get out of those spaces, because mental health is a big deal. It is a big deal. And we need to have compassion for those who need a little extra assistance doing that. I mean, I love therapy. I'm a believer in therapy. I've had a therapist for years. I love her. And I know, in fact, grieving for my father, there would be no way I would have made it through that. So, and for those of you, especially in Black and brown communities, good morning, Carla. Good morning, Miss Young, Mama Young. Good morning, Cynthia. Especially those in Black and brown communities and people of faith who say, baby, you don't need therapy. You just need Jesus. Well, I do need Jesus. But Jesus made therapists.
Absolutely.
And so there is skill there, and there is important work that's done there. So I don't want to make light of those people who have a really hard time coming out of that darkness. But for those of us who are better equipped at this time, or have support systems that enable us to move through those things a little bit better, it is incumbent upon us to make that decision, because mindset matters. And you are not giving your best self to the world. You are not serving if you are sitting. You are not serving if you are wallowing. You are not serving if you are silent. You're just not. Now, there are times when we are not serving because we have to serve ourselves. We have to put our mask on first. And I'm a believer in that too. You got to make sure you're good before you can serve other people, because you can't serve from an empty vessel. So it's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, Leela's saying we're dealing with three major issues, transformative issues: the pandemic, economics, and racial reckoning. That is so true. And as a nation, we are just collectively tired.
You know, I said to you when you walked in this morning, because, you know, you and I become friends now. I really like you.
Yeah.
You know, you're okay.
Thank you, Jerry. I like you too.
You know, I really like it. But I said this morning on the way to work, I mean, I was feeling good. I got on the treadmill this morning. I was feeling good. But as soon as I got in the car and was on my way to work, I just bust out crying.
Yeah.
And I said, God, I don't know why I'm crying. He said, yes, you do. And then I began to say, oh, I miss my mom. I this and this and that. I miss normal. I miss some people.
Yeah.
And I'm hurting for people that I see on Facebook. And it seems like once I did that,
yep,
I heard him say, that's the cry that caught my attention, because it was a truthful cry.
Yes.
Because sometimes we can say, I don't know why I feel like this. You do know why. This has been hard.
It's hard.
And especially if you're a server, you always have to
Right.
put on this face, I'm a blessed woman of God, God has got us. But at times you have to admit, because I even said I feel like a little girl sometimes.
Yes.
And he wanted that. He wants
Right.
us to be truthful with it. And because, as your friend just said, there are three major different things that are going on all at one time.
All at one time. It's a perfect storm.
Oh my God.
It's a perfect storm. And for us to be strong enough, especially as women, you know, we have a tendency to just take it all on. You just, you know, you got, and it's what is that old saying? You know, you got to have it all. You know, you got to have the career, you got to have the family, you got to have the job, you got to love you, and you got to look good. All of it. Just crazy mess is what it is. But that is so deeply ingrained in our psyche that we have a hard time stepping back and saying, wait a minute. It is not selfish to do self-care.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if you want to call it selfish, you got to be a little selfish in order to be selfless.
That's it.
As my friend Holly says. You have to learn how to put your mask on first. You have to learn how to pause. You have to learn how to say, I am tired. I am done. I just need a minute. And it even took me a long time to do that. But again, mindset, right? Because our mindsets have been programmed to just keep pushing through, to just make it happen, to just dig deeper. And especially those who are working in big organizations and organizations that have interesting cultures, whether that's corporate or education or nonprofits, where you keep digging and you keep digging. You're like, okay, it's not working, but I must not be saying it right. I can do something different. I can change it. There's got to be something I can do to fix it. Sometimes the answer to that is you can't do nothing to fix that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the decision and the mindset becomes, do I care? If I do, do I care enough to make the extra effort to do whatever it is to change? And if it still doesn't change, what am I going to do about it? Mm-hmm. But the mindset change of that defeated, it must be me, I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, I'm not competent. No. None of those things are true. None of those things are true. Now, you might be in a situation where it's not the best use of your skill set, and you got to be honest about that too. But mindset is about really getting to the place where you own you, and then you make decisions for how you show up. Stop it, Jerry. You make decisions for how you show up based on that mindset of complete and total awareness and understanding. And it's not easy to get there. It's not easy to get there because we're programmed. We are programmed by our experiences, by the words that people tell us, because words get really deep. And that old saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words may never hurt you. Words do hurt because words get deep. They're like little roots, like that. Okay, so I watched that show called Bones. I love it. It's not even on TV anymore, and I catch every rerun. But there's this plant in one of the episodes that all the roots like went into this skeleton, and that's how it grows. It just kind of digs into trees and bones and whatever, right? And so those little seeds of language that tell you you're not good enough, you're not ready, you're not valuable, you're not smart enough, you're not fast enough. Those roots like get really deep, and they just stick. They're almost like leeches, right? They just stick and hang on. And sometimes we don't even know they're there. I call it the spiderweb effect. You know, when you're walking, unless the light is just right, you don't see the spiderweb. Mm-hmm. But when you hit it, it's all over you. Like you can't get it off, right? It sticks to you. It's fine. You still can't see it, but you can feel it. So those words that stick inside your psyche, that stick inside your soul, are like little spider filament. They're really sticky. They're really silky and sleek. On the outside, they may look all pretty and you're like, oh my gosh, that is such beautiful work. But when you get close to that sucker, it sticks to you. It's hard to get off. It may make you, if you hate spiders like I do, it may make you look all kinds of crazy trying to get it off of you. So think through your mindset. What are those things in your mind, in your soul, in your psyche that are not true? Just like we fact check all the stuff we see, or should be fact checking all the stuff we see on social media, you need to fact check the stuff you're telling you. Is that true? Is it kind? And oh, by the way, if you're saying something to you, is that something you would say to somebody else? I remember I was in a session with my therapist one time, and it was a bad session. It was a tough session. I won't say bad because they're all good. And she finally looked at me and she said, "Great. So what you just said to yourself, would you say that to anybody?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, I would never tell anybody that. She said, "Well then, why did you say it to yourself?" And I had to pause and think about that for a minute. Because we are often much more kind to others than we are to ourselves. And that's a mindset. Mm-hmm. That's a mindset. Including, we tend to be much more patient, much more willing to overlook bad behavior when we are in leadership roles in organizations, especially if the culture is one that is not courageous. So our mindset is one of, well, I can't really call that out. I got to find a way to say it really nice. I got to kind of bury the message. But when you do that kind of stuff, you're not clear. Remember I said earlier, a mindset is about clarity. You got to get clear. If it is not unkind to be clear, and if you're not clear, people don't understand. And if they don't understand, they can't change behavior. And if they don't understand, you are not leading them. Because as leaders, it's your responsibility to make sure people are clear and understand the expectations and can move accordingly, or you can move them along. One way or the other. Up, out, over, whatever. Doesn't mean you have to fire people all the time, but it does mean if you're running a business or running a department that you need people to be doing what you need them to do. So that focus on mindset is really critical. The other thing is, you hear the statement all the time. When a woman is arguing, you know she's still invested. When she gets quiet, you're in trouble. Because then she's done. So when your mind and your spirit gets really quiet, like really quiet, when you've just decided, yeah, I'm through with that. What is that? And why is that? And what are you going to do about it? Is that something you need to completely cut out of your life if you haven't already? Is it something that really is not factual or untrue or hurtful to you? Or is it a truth that you just don't want to admit? Because sometimes it's that too.
Or is it like Rock, when he used to show Rock, he said, I haven't figured that out yet. When you get quiet, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go think about what
I'm going to go think about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go think about that. And we need to take that time to pause. Mindset requires, and mindset management requires some level of solitude and peace and quiet to think and to set and to be still and to decide. Because doing nothing is a decision. Doing nothing is a decision. If you see something going on and you choose to do nothing, that is a decision. And people think, well, you know, I didn't know what to do. Well, okay, you didn't know what to do, so you did nothing. So your choice was to do nothing. As opposed to taking the time to say, here's what's going on, here's what I understand, here's what my position is, and here's what I'm going to do about it. So just know, doing nothing is a choice. And that's okay. That's okay. Just like we're saying, with all of this unrest and with everything that's going on, your choice may be, I just can't right now. I do not have it in me to jump in that fight.
Yeah, is it a time when you said I'm choosing my battles and
absolutely
you don't have to give an explanation?
Absolutely. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah, because when I'm done, I just judge.
When I'm done, I'm just done. My friend Kevin in California used to always say, you know, I don't know, people talk all the time about what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. He said, when I decide I'm not going to do nothing, I just don't do it. Yeah. I don't need to have a lot of conversation about it. Yeah. Is it because the conversation ain't going to change my mind? Mindset. Now, he is one of the strongest minds I've ever met. He's yeah, I want to be him when I grow up. So so going back to kind of this whole idea of mindset and determination, I just decided to sit in that determination. And we all go through seasons, right? And the seasons may be long or short. And when I left corporate, I'm like, I left at the end of December. This business is going to be up and running in March. I had no idea what I was walking into. None whatsoever. And so I was still energized and have been energized. I've never lost my energy. I have lost focus over time. I have lost confidence over time, or questioned confidence, not lost it. I've questioned my confidence. I've questioned my competence over time. Because when you spend a lot of time by yourself and you're the only person you're talking to, that's a dangerous situation. It's a dangerous situation because you can lead yourself to believe what your mind or your heart or your spirit or those little spider webs tell you is true, which may or may not be. And so I just woke up over the weekend and said, you know what? I am just determined. I am determined. 1, because I am a woman of faith. 2, because I've seen all these little God winks that have happened. 3, I know that I have gifts that have been given to me that are important and that can deliver value to someone. And it is a shame for me not to put those out there. And when I sat with that and really sat, I spent some time journaling and thinking and just quiet. I just woke up Monday morning and said, I am just determined. Because this is going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be. I cannot fix the pandemic. I cannot fix the economy. I can fix how I respond to it. I can fix how I interact with people. I can make sure that I wear a mask. I can make sure that I am cleaning up. I can make sure that I am not out when I don't have to be. I can make sure that I am spending my time doing the things that are important, that impact lives positively.
Wait, when you said that, because and then I want to read this. You said that it brought peace to me. I was at Walmart the other day. I hate going to Walmart, but I hated running there to get something.
Right.
And there was this big black guy, and I said like that because I was looking at his scar on his face. He didn't have a mask on. But I wasn't even paying attention that he didn't have a mask on. I was looking at, why is he looking at me so crazy? And so I was getting away from him, and he bust out laughing because I had the mask on. Now, I know other mask activists probably would have ran up there and told him the importance of wearing the mask. But what I understood was, okay, you look like you off, and you can do a little something.
Right.
So I just got away from him, and then I laughed, and I said, that's how I'm going to go through this pandemic.
Right.
You do you, I'll do me, and we'll stay away from each other. And that's as simple as that, because most people are getting frustrated with people who won't do it and people who are doing it. We just don't have to be in the same company.
We don't have to be in the same company. And it's and I want people to remember facts. Facts when you're talking about mindset. What we hear and what we see, for the most part, the people who are the loudest, for the most part, are the people on the fringes. And they are never going to agree. Never, ever, ever, never. So you got the people on the far extreme who are like, you don't leave your house. If you leave your house, you better have a mask on. You better have gloves on. You better not walk anywhere without any of that. And your baby, from the time they leave the womb till 22, needs to have a mask on. You got those folks.
Yeah.
And if I don't see you, it is my right to call you out, and I'm going to let you know. Then you got the folks, like I heard yesterday, this is not a communist country. We don't have to wear a mask, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Those two people are never going to see eye to eye. Never.
Right. And so to argue with that is just causing you to be frustrated. Anita Thomas says, you are so right. I am so much more kinder to others than myself. I'm a super hard on myself because I am a perfectionist.
Yes.
And I find myself stagnant. I have to do it all or nothing at all. This is the very thing that holds me back. I must remember I was never told to be perfect. I was told to be holy. I tend to mix the two up sometimes. And I know her, and there are times, and I'm like, she said, I apologize for, I'm like, what are you apologizing for? And it's stuff that I don't pay attention to.
Right.
And I'm not
but
trying
we do
to
that.
But I don't, you know, and she's very sensitive about things. And it meant a lot to her.
Absolutely.
But it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
She'll go back.
Because I didn't see it. Right.
Yeah. So
is it Anita?
Anita Thomas, yeah.
Anita, I've got a word for you. One of the things my coach says, the P in perfection is for poison. The P in perfection is for poison. So you are poisoning your mindset, you're poisoning your heart, you're poisoning your spirit by going after perfection. And that is not a judgment, because we all got a little bit of that perfectionism in it, especially as type A insecure overachievers. Hello, I'm Laurel Rutledge, and I'm a type A insecure overachiever. Okay, so we all got that. But that's something I keep in my mind. The P in perfection is for poison.
When you said that, I had another lady on the other day, and she was talking about, why haven't you done your comedy stuff yet? I said, wait a minute, because I'm trying to figure this Zoom thing out. I want to make sure, because I'm a production person, and this, that, and the third, and sound matters to me. And she said, in this season, you're going to have to allow yourself some grace.
So, Jerry.
What?
I'm going to tell you the other thing that my coach said, which is, imperfect action is better than inaction.
Whoa, that's good.
Imperfect action is better than inaction. So for all of y'all, just go do something.
Yeah, that's good.
Just go do something. Because here's the thing. People don't always want to see perfect. That's why folks are tired of Snapchat and filters and all this drama.
Yeah.
Right? The biggest response I get is when I just put stuff out there that says, this is me. This is me. I'm not perfect. You know, even in the thank you yesterday, I'm like, look, I did shower, but I am in my.
She explained it.
I showered, you know. I put on my face, but these are my work clothes, right? I'm not cute today. I'm just, you know, I'm working. But you get more response from when you are just being real, because people want to see real. There's already enough made up, cinched up. There's enough of that. People want to see real. So imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. And the P in perfection stands for poison. If y'all don't take anything else away from today, remember those 2 things. And I can't take credit for them. My coach, Terry Murphy, said those to me.
The P in perfection is poison.
Yeah.
And inaction is what?
Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. So you're waiting to be perfect, but you're not doing anything. But you at least do something, but it's not perfect.
Because we're in a different time right now, and everybody's learning.
Everybody's learning.
So if you think you're going to get the sound just perfect,
you're just not.
Yeah, because
you're just learning. Not. It just, and here's the thing. You may get the sound perfect and somebody's internet isn't working, so it doesn't sound perfect anyway. So it doesn't matter.
What to say?
So I'm just saying, right? We get caught up in stuff, mindset. We get caught up in stuff that nobody else cares about and doesn't even see. Oh my gosh, I can't believe my hands did that. My eyes look like that. My jeans look like that. And we're like, what? Somebody called me yesterday and said, oh my gosh, I watched your video. And I'm like, oh, I said, well, thank you so much. I said, I didn't think it was very good. See? Didn't think it was very good. They're like, are you kidding me? That was so great. And you were so beautiful and blah, blah. And I had to say, you know what? Thank you. Let me stop and just say thank you.
You know what I liked about it? I liked that top for one.
Oh, thank you.
And then you lost a lot
my
of weight.
Phoenix.
For 2.
Thank you.
And the third thing is because you are so genuine, and because if anybody knew you or know you, you weren't trying to be perfect. You're just genuine. You're so happy-go-lucky and loving. That is like, oh, girl, that ain't me. But people can receive it when it's you, you know?
Well, I just, it's so funny because I sat there and I'm like, okay, where am I going to put this and how moving the camera? Y'all, it is a production to try to do a video in my house. You hear me? I'm so ready to go see Miss Tiffany at Twice Media and say, let me record these things in your studio so I can be through. Because that finding a spot in my house and closing drapes, and it is more than a notion, I'm telling you. So, but it is important for me. It was really important to say thank you. I just felt moved to say thank you. And that's the other thing when this determination thing hit me and this mindset thing hit me over the weekend is I want you all, when you get those, I do call them God winks. I call them just like these divine downloads. When you get that, act on it.
But let me say this, when you said that, your need to say thank you was actually a God wink to me. Because I was thinking about something, and then I scrolled through Facebook, and I saw you saying it, and you said, and then Jerry says, hey, you ought to do a show, and this and this and that. And then I thought about it, and I shared, and I said, it's good to work with excited people, because sometimes you've given platforms or open doors.
Absolutely.
And people just take it for granted and never say anything about it. So you're like, do they like it? Are they having a good time? Is it this?
Right.
But when a person takes time to say thank you, I don't care if people say they don't need it.
Right.
Everybody wants to know.
Yes. That they're appreciated.
And that, I think that's when God begins to wink more on you when you take time to wink on
Absolutely.
others.
And I think it's real thank you. And it really is important. And I've gotten to the place where that, again, mindset, because my mindset has always been, I'm not putting a picture out on social media. I'm not getting out on social media. I'm not putting all my business out on social. Not gonna. It's stupid. I don't want to. Anybody's business. All of that stuff, right? All of that stuff. And then reality hit and said, okay, but you're running a business, baby, so you got to do some of that stuff. But you do have control in how you show up, when you show up, and what you tell people. And there is a difference, mindset. There is a difference in authenticity and transparency. Because I meant everything I said yesterday. I meant everything. I always mean everything that I say. Very rarely do I say something I don't mean. I don't ever say anything I don't mean. I may say it in a way that I don't mean if you catch me on the wrong time. But I can't think of a time when I don't say something I don't mean.
You had gratitude. There's a difference between gratitude and flattery. I can tell when somebody's trying to be flattering and butter up. Yeah. And then you can tell when somebody is genuinely has gratitude.
Genuinely grateful. Yes.
And that's what I saw with your video. That's how I see with you, period.
Well, it's just, I just know that I know that I am truly blessed, and there have been so many opportunities, and I am the only one standing in my way. My mindset is standing in my way. Your mindset, if you're trying to be the CEO somewhere, your mindset is a key to your success. If you are trying to start a business, your mindset is a key to your success. If you are trying to just be the best team leader you can be, your mindset is the key to your success. My friend Leela, who's on, is running for the first time for city council in Carlsbad, California, running against an incumbent who's been there forever. But her mindset is, this is important to me. Social justice is important to me. You have to be committed to this community, and you have to want to make a difference. This is not just a place you go and just sit. And it's definitely not a place you make a whole lot of money, because council people don't make a lot of money at all. That's not the point. The point is service and making a difference. And so her mindset says, I am scared to death, because she is. Scared to death, nervous, but my God, she is showing up. She is doing Zooms with people in the community to get that out there. She is doing virtual meet and greets because she can't knock on doors right now, right? She is supporting small business. She is making it happen. And more importantly, she is getting prepared, and she is studying. She is understanding. She is making sure that she is ready when her time comes.
And
it's coming,
sister.
She is making sure she is ready when her time comes. Not if, when her time comes. And so that mindset piece, and I use that, and she's on right now, and I've known her forever, went to grad school together. And we both struggled. All of it, everybody that's in my world has struggled with mindset at some point, as we all have. And there reaches a point in your life, some get it earlier than others, I got it late. There reaches a point in your life where you just decide, you know what? I am bigger than this. I am bigger than this story that I'm telling myself or somebody else told me. What I want to do, what I can give to this world is bigger than my fear. Faith over fear. And so as you are looking to decide how you're going to move through this next half of the year, because this is at least through December, y'all. I mean, they were saying this morning, they think that maybe there could be a vaccine by November, but you know, who knows? And then who knows who's going to take it. And they even admitted this morning, they were talking to, was it on CNN? I can't remember what I was watching. But they were talking to a health expert, because now most of these vaccines are now going into the big trials, right? The 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 people trials. And they're saying that one of the challenges they are having is getting volunteers from minority communities, from underserved communities.
Well, I believe it.
And she said, and we understand why, because there's a trust issue, because if you go back centuries, decades, you get the Tuskegee experiments, among others, where people were intentionally infected as a test. So there is a real lack of trust in underserved communities that this is really something to help and not to hurt. That the communities aren't being used as just lab rats, for lack of a better word.
Let me ask this question when you say that. Now, there's the conspiracy theory, and there is just the, I'm seeing your fruit.
Right.
Would you take the vaccine? Do you think that it could be deadly?
So the likelihood of me taking a vaccine is pretty low, but that's because I don't do needles.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
My issue is different, right? I don't take a flu vaccine. I just am really careful. I just can't stay. Well, and part of that is my grandmother got really sick and almost died when she took the flu vaccine. Now, the fact that was 40, 50 years ago, and it's come a long way since then, don't matter, because I just remember her dying. That's what happens with my mindset. I haven't fixed that one yet, y'all, so forgive me. I don't know, Jerry, that I'm not on the conspiracy theory side. I do not think that there is some grand design to just kill a bunch of people. I don't believe that. Mm-hmm. I do have some concern about how quickly this is moving.
It's too quick. I think it's money hungry.
It's moving fast. And the reason I believe that is because I've also worked in an organization that had big pharma. I worked at Bayer. Mm. And, and I followed like Merck and Pfizer, and GlaxoSmithKline. And so, because when you're in that, you're following all the big players. And so my concern is that it takes a really long time to get a drug through the process and to get it approved. So if we are able to move this one so fast, then I got questions.
Yeah.
Does it really take that long, or have we been fooling ourselves and spending too much money, so then the drug costs are high because we've invested all this research time? Or are we making lots of shortcuts? Those are the two extremes. Now, there is a solution in the middle as well that says, you know what? This is such an urgent issue that people started collaborating and started being creative, and they figured it out. Now, that's the optimistic, glass half full, everybody sees this global challenge where people are dying and the majority of people are trying to do the right thing. That's the the position of that.
That's the thought, that if everything kept at a steady course in the
Right,
beginning,
right.
and everybody was compliant and
Right.
united in the beginning, then you would think that way.
Right.
But because there was so much controversy, division, and chaos, I wouldn't trust
It makes it
any
a little
of now.
scary.
Yeah, so
It makes it a little scary.
I
And,
think
you know,
this is
and
right.
follow the money, right? So
Follow
there's
the
a
money.
lot getting billions of dollars. Some of them aren't. I would be more likely to take, if I were to take one, I'd probably be more likely to take one from one of the companies that didn't get the billions of dollars in funding, but that just did it because they felt compelled to make a change. They felt compelled to impact the health of the world. So I don't know. I'm not completely on the side of conspiracy, but I have some reservations. Let's put it that way. I have some reservations. We shall see what happens. Because I don't know. I don't know. It's a little disconcerting to me. So I really, you know, good morning, Donna.
When you said about fact checking and everything, because even while we're talking, I'm seeing people, you know, and I think it's spam, but they go into your inbox and they said, share this before they take this down. You know, and I think that's where the fear factor is coming in, because people are getting a lot of their information from YouTube videos.
So y'all, again, we speak truth to power on this show. We are authentic, and we just tell. If we don't know, we say we don't know. Here's the thing. I did see something posted the other day. It was a picture, and under the picture, it said, and I'm going to get it all wrong, but under the picture, it essentially said, this is the person. Years ago, they started this experiment. They tested all these people. What is going on? And then under that, it said, none of that was true. This is a picture of this guy. He did this thing. This is not, you know, fact check your stuff. Mm-hmm. So I give you that example to say, just like with the election coming up, go for yourself and educate yourself on the candidates. Don't let somebody else tell you what their position is. Don't let somebody else tell you how they voted or what they said. Go look at it for yourself. And make sure you are looking at full transcripts. Don't look at the stuff that people try to cut for a commercial and all that kind of stuff, because that happens too. It may be something that the person actually said, like the video may actually be a real video. The person actually did say that, but they took it out of context of a whole video. So just check the facts. Check the facts.
Nita says, this is so helpful. Thank you, Jerry, and thank you, Miss Rutledge. You know, when she put that
Thank
down,
you, Nita.
it made me think about something, and this is gonna for you. Years ago, when I first started working here, Ben Hall said, he said, you know what, Jerry, I would like to have a station like Lifetime Television. And he said maybe one studio would be like for women only. And while we're doing this, that's what made me revisit.
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago. And so when you're talking about this, because there are a lot of women who are in business, there are a lot of women who are leaders, as we saw with the president trying to do the black mayors of the city wrong and all of that kind of stuff. They need a place where they can vent and be honest and say, okay, yeah, you see me as a strong person, but right here I have some insecurities. Even when we talk about comparisons.
Yes.
When you said on your video, you said, and I'm going to help somebody here. When you said on your video, you said, you know, and I was just up and getting ready for the show for the next day. I said, getting ready for the show? I just get on the mic. What is she doing? Is she taking notes? And so I was thinking, should I be doing stuff up? It doesn't work for me like that. And that's what, okay, I didn't know that's what you do. Because there's some who do.
But I do, y'all. I got notes. And this one is light. Normally it's like, oh yeah, I got notes. And I got notes because my mind is messy. My mind is messy. Those of y'all who know me know that's true. My mind is messy,
But
so I got to write it
compare
down.
ourselves like, should I be doing that? Help somebody with that.
No. Well, you know, and it's interesting that you say that, Jerry. And this is why the P in perfection stands for poison. You got to do you. So I was talking to somebody. I was interviewed for a podcast the other day. And it's by a podcast company that actually manages my podcast. And so they interviewed me for theirs. And she was talking about the process and all that. And I said, well, here's my process. I have an idea. I write an article. I have to write it out. Then I use that as the basis to do my video, because I don't read for my videos. I just get up and speak, but I have to get it out of my head. And then I cut the audio from the video to be on the podcast, right? And that feeds my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, feeds all of that stuff. And she said, well, that's interesting because a lot of people do it backwards. Like they'll record the audio and then they'll write it. I said, I know. I said, and that's what's the beauty. I said, for me, I have to get it out of my head. So if I get it out of my head, then it gets organized. Because I literally found this, if nobody's used it, if you're writing a lot, this thing called a Grammarly, which is awesome. It's an editor. Because I would be writing and trying to edit at the same time, which is just insane. And so it allows me to just like written verbal vomit, just write it all down. Then I can go back and fix it. Then I put it in Grammarly and it does all the editing and stuff for me and use this word. This is run-on sentence, whatever. But it gets it out of my head and gets me clear. And it's the same thing with prepping for the show. Sometimes I get it like a week early, but there's sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, that's it. That's what we're talking about today. This one I knew over the weekend. I knew it was going to be mindset because of the way it hit me and because of the things that happened over the weekend.
Okay.
And because of things that other people had said to me over the last few days. I'm like, you know what? It's mindset. Because these times are crazy. And now we've been in this for 6 months and people are getting tired. And when you get that tired, your attitude gets bad. And when your attitude gets bad, your actions get sketchy. And so we want to always be able to control our actions as much as possible. And I don't mean be a control freak, but I do mean make conscious decisions so we can behave as adults. Right? Because there are enough children out there.
That's true.
So we need to adult. And adulting is hard. All the time. But we need to adult. We need to be prepared to adult. And being prepared to adult means you got to make your mindset reasonable.
Yes.
Or at least know when it's not. Because there are times when I'm like, you know what? And I even told this to my team one time. I walked into work one day and I said, today is a day that I am not capable of being reasonable or patient. So we're going to do this meeting and I just need you to understand that up front, it's not you. There's a lot of stuff going on and I just need you to know if you see a different countenance on my face, because I don't have a poker face and I'm not getting one. I'm not working that hard to try to find a poker face. But I can control the words that come out of my mouth. So I said, I need you to overlook my face today. I will manage my words the best I can, but understand my patience is really short today. And I had people come up to me afterwards and say, we so appreciated that because it was so, we could tell when you walked in that it wasn't you, that something was going on. And so mindset, I knew my mindset wasn't right, but I also knew I had a choice in how I showed up. And we all have a choice in how we showed up. And if the mindset is not where you need it to be, can you do something about the way you show up, including saying, you know what, I can't show up today. Can we redo this meeting? Can we postpone this meeting? Because I'm just not going to be in the right frame of mind to make it productive. Now, sometimes we don't have that choice, right? And sometimes you got to suck it up and put your big girl pants on and just make it happen. And push all that challenge down and then revisit it when you can. Sometimes putting the mask on is a necessity. I just don't want you to live in the mask.
You were speaking about the mask though, with the wash your hands and keep social distancing and all of that. That's a natural thing. But do you think that that's also necessary in dealing with people going forward? There are certain people that I purposely, I'm gonna be honest, kind of distance myself from because I know that they're overly emotional and that they can only see the negative in this situation.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I just got enough energy to keep me together right now. This would be too heavy for me right now. So let me distance myself. Is that harsh?
So again, I know me. And there are times when it will be in the best interest of the other person for me to distance. Because my ability to be patient is not there. And we do have to protect our energy. I am an introvert. I'm an empath, which means I take on other people's energy. And that gets really heavy. So I have to manage that. I just try to do so with as much grace as possible. So like my friends know, if I'm tired, I'm not showing up. And I just say, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. They know if you don't get me out before it's dark, it's not happening. And it's not that I don't love you, but that's just not how I roll.
That's good, because one day you came in here and said, girl, don't come in with all that. Because I feel people tell me,
yes.
Like, the day, and that's when you did that video.
Yes. I was like, ooh, that was a heavy day. Yeah, that was my I'm tired video. Yeah, that was a heavy day. And so it really, it's important to know. So I don't think it's harsh. Now, your interaction with them may be harsh, but the actual decision to manage your energy is not a harsh energy. Sometimes you got to be a little selfish in order to be selfless. You got to protect your energy. You got to protect your spirits. You got to protect all of that so that you can manage your mindset. And there are just people who just suck your energy out. They just do. And I'm not a negative person either. I like to live my life glass half full. I'm not always there, but probably 95% of the time I'm glass half full. And so I can't spend 95% of my time with people who are glass half empty, or, you know, the sky is falling. I cannot. Because the other thing that happens to me is I go into solution mode. I'm like, okay, I hear you. So what are we going to do about it? And I you know, the emotion goes away and it's solution. Because see, now I'm tired and I'm irritated. And so I can't get you there emotionally. So I need to figure out a way to get you in action to do something.
And then they think you're not concerned about their feelings, but I don't want to hear this long drawn out story. Let's fix it.
So what are we going to do?
Yeah,
what are we going to do? So yeah, so mindset, y'all. Mindset, y'all, is critically important to your health, to your well-being, to your success. It just is. That's just a fact. All right. Ooh, 11:01. Okay, so I have an announcement before we go. At the end of the month, I am going to be doing a summit. This one is going to be aimed at small business owners or business owners and leaders who are within a bigger business maybe. And it's going to be the 5 secrets to rebuilding your dream team.
Oh, I like that.
And it's only going to be 3 days. I'm not doing some 5-day big launch. It's going to be like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 6 to 7:30 so that people can do it after work. So you'll be seeing more of that. I'll let you know how to register and all that kind of stuff. So that's coming. It'll be at the end of the month. I'm excited.
I like that.
Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you. Thank you for the support. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It is, I am honored and I am humbled that you decide to spend time with me. Thank you.
Sherry Duff from St. Louis, please catch the rebroadcast. Also, next week, next Tuesday.
Oh, yes.
You're going to, the Rutledge Perspective is going to be on at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. She's doing me a favor. I have an appointment somewhere else. And so we just have to bump her up a little bit early on next week at 9 a.m. in the middle of Keep the Morning Moving Morning Show. The Rutledge Perspective will be on an hour early just for Tuesday. Just for
Tuesday. I'll post that, y'all. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.